It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. Fire crews are continuing to strengthen containment lines around a bushfire which threatened dozens of homes at Belmont last night. Extra teams from Sydney and a waterbombing helicopter are being brought in to relieve weary crews who've worked through the night. The fire is listed at advice level, having burnt through 79 hectares, and residents are being urged to remain vigilant in case the winds pick up again today. James Morris from the RFS says the fire is not yet contained.
There's still plenty of active fire on the ground, but albeit most of it in the middle. The crews are still working just to make solid and hard containment lines around the outside, around that perimeter, before we can confirm that fire is definitely contained. No idea of the cause of the fire yet. That'll be determined throughout the day by fire investigators and police. Over due course, that they will work with that.
Meanwhile, several local roads have been closed along with the Fernley track to allow firefighters to continue backburning. Only local residents will be allowed into and out of Golding Avenue, Railway Crescent and John Darling Avenue. It's been confirmed water restrictions will be introduced to the Lower Hunter for the first time in 25 years. Level 1 restrictions will begin on September 16. The State Water Minister's announcement comes as a response to the worst drought on record for New South Wales, which has reduced the region's water storage levels to just 64%. Fears over a potential power shortage following Liddell Power Station's closure in 2023 have prompted Hunter Energy to pose a decommissioned plant as a replacement. Redbank Power Station at Singleton was known as the country's dirtiest plant until its closure in 2014, but Hunter Energy wants to reopen the site with a low emissions goal. Saul Dean from the Total Environment Centre says renewables would be a more suitable alternative.
I mean, we know that there's more jobs in renewable energy. There's more jobs in putting solar panels on roofs. There's more jobs in setting up wind farms. There's much more jobs in those sort of industries that are actually going to set the Hunter up for the future, rather than relying on something that you know is probably going to be set up under huge government subsidies, probably only got another limited lifespan.
Hunter Energy says it plans to integrate renewable energy following the completion of a feasibility study. The EPA is recommending further tests and a detailed site assessment after PFAS chemicals were found in 2 water wells at the former Truegain oil refinery at Rutherford. Dr Brett Turner from the University of Newcastle's Priority Centre for Geotechnical Science and Engineering has told the Herald it's likely the firefighting chemicals would have leached into the groundwater and possibly made their way into the Hunter River. Although the EPA has knowledge of a consultant's report into the extent of the pollution, it says it can't make this public as it was commissioned by the former owner of the site. Labor says it's building a case to improve the NDIS after speaking with residents at a forum in Maitland. Patterson MP Meryl Swanson was joined by Shadow NDIS Minister Bill Shorten for the meeting. Meryl Swanson says they heard heartfelt stories from locals struggling to receive adequate support in the system.
From people who are every day fighting either for their children or their grandchildren or themselves or their partners and husbands and wives, fighting to get their plans, fighting to try and make the NDIS work for them or their family.
The Hunter is in for a welcome boost in police resources, with 21 probationary constables due to start work on Monday. 5 are heading to the Hunter Valley, 6 to Lake Macquarie, 5 to Newcastle and 5 to the Port Stephens commands. They're part of the latest batch of 269 recruits graduating from the Goulburn Academy this morning.
2NURFM Sport.
The Knights have announced rising star Bradman Best will debut for the club in tomorrow's showdown against the West Tigers. The 18-year-old rookie will start on the left wing outside Hymel Hunt, who has moved in one spot to cover the loss of centre Tatau Moga to a hamstring injury. Best says he's remaining focused heading into the game at Campbelltown.
I haven't really thought about it too much, trying to just keep a clear head, but I do know the expectations. It is a do-or-die game for us boys, but hopefully we'll get the job done.
The Jets are continuing their strong run leading up to the A-League season following a 5-1 defeat of Edgeworth, sending them into the FFA Cup quarter-finals. Imports into the team, including Arroyo, Fitzgerald, Miller and Houlihan, have bolstered the strength of the Jets roster. Veteran coach Ernie Merrick says the squad is the strongest Newcastle have had in the 3 years since he's been with the club. And Newcastle's Steel cricket team have been cut from the Sydney-based New South Wales Premier T20 Cup after 6 seasons in the comp. And the winning numbers in Powerball are 10, 11, 17, 35, 7, 26 and 3, and the Powerball number is 19. 2NURFM News Time, 25 to 9.